Hi, my loves. Welcome to today's video newsletter. I'm Allie. This is Titan. I feel like the last time I did a video newsletter, I didn't have this big boy. If you've been following along on my social media journey, you know about him. He is my sweetest baby angel. I adopted him the day that I got home from leading a retreat in Costa Rica, which was, I believe, like May 24th or 25th, something like that. So we've officially made it to 2 months. We've had some trials and tribulations, and we've made it to the other side. He's honestly the best thing that's happened to me in a very long time. I just love him so much. So this is my first big update. And other than that, I really wanted to talk to you today about remembering that things can change for you overnight. Thinking about all of the possibilities and all of the opportunities. I feel like life energy has felt so sticky recently. Like it's just been thick. The energy is really thick. It's hard to get through. It's murky. It's overwhelming. And so many people that I know have just been in some of the like darkest times of their lives in terms of haziness and not being able to see a pathway forward. And that's where I see a lot of the frustration. It's like, I don't know what's going to happen in a month from now or 2 months from now, and I just can't see the path. And there's so much frustration and shutdown that and overwhelm and like freeze that comes from that feeling of not knowing what's going to happen moving forward. Like, what is the path? And also at the same time, there's such a beautiful opportunity for us to be in the energy. And I speak this for myself as well. I've been very similar energy of like, I can't see the path forward. I don't know what it is. I don't know what direction I'm going to go in. I don't know what my life is going to look like in 2 months from now. I just don't know. And there's also the opportunity for us to understand that there are infinite possibilities from this place of not knowing. And I understand the physiological effects that that can have on us. And there's also such a ripe, it's also such a ripe place to be in, because to not know a path means that there are hundreds of thousands of paths that you could take. And even if you look out in front of you now in terms of what are the options? What are the options? There's more than one option. If you don't see the path, that means there's more than one option. And it's such a powerful place to be in an opportunity to decide for yourself, an opportunity to pick what choice you want to make and what feels the most supportive to you. And I'm not saying you have to decide anything now. There are a bunch of planets in retrograde. I believe there are 4, Mercury included, and it's been hazy. And in times like this, we really are meant to slow down and understand I'm not meant to have clarity right now. And as freaky and overwhelming and debilitating that can be, we also get to breathe, number one, and see if we can cultivate a state of radical okayness. And I've been talking about this a lot on TikTok, actually. I've become a TikTok girly over the past, 14 days. So if you feel like following me there, go for it. That's like my new platform. So yeah, like radical okayness, which is different than radical acceptance, because radical acceptance is I accept the circumstances around me. Radical okayness is I cultivate a sense of okayness no matter what my circumstances are. That comes after radical acceptance. That's internally focused. I am okay, not the circumstances are okay. I am. And to get to a sense of radical okayness, we need to trust ourselves deeply and reclaim our power in this present moment. And with that sense of coming back to our power, we're also believing in miracles. we're also believing in opportunity. We're also believing in all that we are and our capability to navigate this present moment. Because as uncomfortable as it can be to not know and to not see, there's power as well in saying, even though I can't see, I trust myself to move forward with grace, with love, and to be able to hold myself through the discomfort until we get to the other side. Because I've also found that in this state of reclaiming power and reclaiming okayness, for me personally, this is where I feel the most powerful. It's after like being in a hole, literally being in a deep, dark hole where I'm like debilitated and frozen and overwhelmed and shut down and just like barely breathing, just in a state of holding my breath and like in the fauna response of just, oh my God. And after that, when I start to get my mojo back, when that comes back online and comes back to my body, and I'm like, oh, wait, even though this sucks, it sucks. I could do this, 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 this. And when I start acting in alignment with those things of infinite possibility or potential or whatever it may be, where it's like, this is the best action for this moment right now, I start feeling like, oh, I'm coming out. And when I start to feel the energy shifting and I'm like, oh my God, I'm coming out of this deep dark hole. Oh my God, it's moving, something's moving. And you don't see the changes around you, but you feel something shift inside of you where you're like, I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to be okay because I also came back to okayness before I felt inside of me that I was going to be okay. I reminded myself, oh yes, I can navigate this because I'm strong and because I've been in deep, dark places before and I've gotten out of them. So I know that I'm okay, no matter what's happening around me. And then you start to take these little teeny tiny actions. For example, for me, movement is so necessary in times where I'm in a deep, dark hole. And there are also times where I literally can't get myself to go to the gym or go for a walk. And I didn't have a car for 2.5 weeks, and like the stagnancy of energy and being here and being with my baby, it was best times ever. And also like there's stagnant energy there, and it was nearly impossible to get myself out of my own way to do the things that I knew I needed to do in order to bring that power back, because I was so far away from it and I just couldn't break out of it. I was like, this is real. This is alive. And from that place of beginning to do the things, beginning to move, beginning to take action, beginning to do whatever I can do that's within my power now, within my locus of control, I can begin to shift out of that. And I find that there's so much magic in watching yourself and witnessing yourself go from the deep, dark hole to crawling out and beginning to like see the light again. I just imagine like literally being buried in a deep dark hole and crawling your way out and crawling your way up and crawling your way out. And like you see your first glimpse of light and you're like, oh, oof, that's where I feel right now. That's where I am right now when I know that I'm not the only one. And to see myself move through this process, this is when I feel most in love with Allie. I'm like, how cool is it that I can see an evolution within myself in 1 month's time, where the light was so inattainable to now being able to see it peeking through. I did that. And I've been reading The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success again by Deepak Chopra, who I actually met waiting tables in Austin. And it's really cool just to meet him in person. And like his wife was so spunky and cool, and he was just like not vibing. But it's interesting. Anywho, it's interesting to meet like people that you have pedestalized in one way or another. I'm not a pedestalizer. However, there are many intellects in the spiritual space where I'm like, you're one of the founding fathers of spirituality and quantum physics and like deep healing in a way that resonates with me. And I've learned so much from you. So it's interesting to meet him in person and to see the radiance of his wife and to see him just like be in stillness. He's a very still dude. And when I say not vibing, like externally, internally he could have been vibing. So anywho, I've been reading the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success again. And also, if you don't know this about me, my favorite thing to do is read books again and again and again, because you always get something new and different in this season that you're in. Words speak to you, lessons speak to you that did not before. And there's power to that, to returning to great works where you got so much out of it the first time, because in the second time, it's a deeper level of integration into your beingness. And I feel like in today's day and age, we have such a tendency to grab at information where we're like, oh, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. And like, there's never enough. We never can fill ourselves with enough information. And like, we're missing the point of being the lived experiences of these great works that have changed something inside of us the first time, which often means going back to study again and again and again. It's the same thing with like meditation or breath work in a way where every time we sit down or lay down, something new comes through. And it's wisdom, it's embodied wisdom, and we don't need to learn everything there is to learn. We need to learn things well. So anywho, that's my nugget with that. So with the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, Deepak talks about spontaneous right action, where it's like we're in this state of connected to our inner being, to connected to our soul self. And it's the first thing that comes to mind that we know that action is led by intuition. We know that action is led by our inner being, our soul self. So when we act in alignment with that, the law of the universe is that it guides us into deeper prosperity, deeper abundance. So what are those actions around you? It's also known as aligned action. However, I will say I resonate more with spontaneous right action, because it's the little nugget that comes through where you're like, oh, I didn't expect that. Aligned action is more like I'm sitting in contemplation of what is this action. And spontaneous right action is something that comes to us out of the blue, where we're like, that's what I need to do. And that's also, I've been reading Napoleon Hill, what's the book called? The main one about wealth and prosperity. Anywho, look up Napoleon Hill and it will be the first book that comes up. And he talks about when the information is given to us, we act, and really being in the state of waiting for how are we going to move forward now? What's the next action? It doesn't come from a place of sitting and contemplating and forcing. And actually, I want to remove the word contemplation because that's a different energy. It doesn't come from sitting with your notepad and journaling and forcing the action to come out because you need to do something now. It comes from, I'm sitting here without urgency to allow the information to come. And when it comes, I will act from that place. And when I talk about the information, it's the guided action. It's the spontaneous right action. And that also brings me to the energy of urgency. I've been working a lot with love and money. This is my energetic thread that I'm like really diving into in this present moment. More on that to come. But this layer of urgency is one of the biggest blocks to receiving. Because we're like, we need to get there now, so we don't allow it to fully bloom. And when we have urgency, we simultaneously shoot ourselves in the foot with not allowing greatness to blossom. And I've really been noticing that within myself. And when I, for example, sell something out of urgency rather than really being with like, oh, this feels right to sell. It's a completely different energy and the results are completely different. And Jamie C talks about it being like a crock pot meal versus a microwave meal. When you cook something, when you cook something in the crock pot, it's it's so good, right? It's like, oh, it really takes the full 8 hours to cook something that's so delicious. I think about this in terms of not necessarily crock pot, but my family's very Italian and you can't rush the sauce. You can't rush the sauce. You just can't rush the sauce. Um, the pasta sauce. And it takes time to cook. And if you rush that process, you end up eating it and there's no fulfillment there. It's not as good. And then with the microwave, you think about like the I don't what is it called? The radiation in that space and how it's like not quite as healthy. It doesn't taste as good. It can be rubbery, whatever. And it's just not the same level of enjoyment, fulfillment, and like what are you actually creating? Because in order to really reap the benefits and the full harvest of the fruit in your life, you have to be willing to plant the seeds and let them grow. And this is something that I've learned over and over again in business is it takes longer than we think. And we have to find a way to get out of urgency. We have to. And I know it's hard when there are financial things at play. And also it's like urgency will shoot us in the foot when it comes to really bringing our soul's mission to life, because creativity and intuition can't be rushed and spontaneous right action can't be rushed. And information from God source divinity is not something where we're like, okay, we put the microwave on 2 minutes, it'll be done. It's like when the sauce is done, the sauce is done. And it takes longer than we think for all of the flavors to blend, and like can't forget the red wine and like all of these ingredients. And sometimes you're like, oh, I don't have this, I got to go to the store and make sure I get it, because the blending of the flavors is so important. And that happens in business. It takes time. It really, really does. And it also, yeah, urgency, man. It's been ever present in my mind. And I know it's frustrating. And I also just have been reading Big Magic, and there are some things that I agree with and don't agree with, but what I've been sitting with recently is my healing and my expression of healing to be my art, to be my artistic expression, my creative expression. And the way that I heal myself and heal others is artwork. And I'm willing to protect that. I'm willing to provide for that. I'm willing to do what I need to do to honor that beautiful expression of my soul that can't be rushed, which means I do what I need to do to take care of it. And I've really been in a season here in deep contemplation of like, number one, what is my soul's gift to the world? And what does that look like? And how can I make a greater impact individually and on a greater level? And I've been exploring different ways I can open different streams of income to really support that mission. And that's a part of like why I'm allowing TikTok to come into the party, because I also believe that there are infinite ways to make money. Infinite ways to make money. And I was sitting in contemplation this morning of like, oh yeah, I have this offering out and I have this on my website and this on my website and I have this thing here and I have this check that's in the mail and I have this and this and this, and like any of that could arrive today. And so that comes back to what I was mentioning at the beginning of this chat of we have to believe that miracles can happen at any time, that things can shift instantaneously, and they do. And they do. 2 days ago, I was on the phone with my best friend, Sisa, who's also a co-facilitator and like a deep soul sister. And I was like, Sisa, I really have a desire to facilitate at this retreat here, 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 that I just feel called to be there. I just really feel like I'm meant to step into service at that retreat and facilitate. Like my soul just knows it needs to be there. The following day, the retreat leader sent me a voice note and was like, hey, I had a dream that you're meant to facilitate at this retreat. And I was like, cool, cool. Like, things can change for us at any time, and they do. And they do. And so remembering that and what do you need in this moment to come back to a sense of okayness and get out of urgency? What can I do for me right now to be okay if this thing took 10 years? Because for me, like my healing work, this is never going away. This is my life path. And what do I need to do right now so that I'm okay? All right. I really, really need to get out of urgency. Okay, cool. So how do I do that? Oh, all right. Things come together. And I also want to share, I made a TikTok 2 weeks ago, and it was just saying things can change for you at any moment. You really have to believe that. You need to believe in miracles don't just happen for this person and this person or me, but they happen for you too. Because my belief system has been always externally focused on goodness. Like I could see goodness happening to this person, this person, this person, this person. But when it comes to me, it's way harder for me to conceptualize something so beautiful happening to me, Allie. And so I made that video. And then about a half hour later, I recorded a video of me and Titan and posted it. And I got almost 100,000 views. And my TikTok following more than doubled. And it just kind of blew up in a moment, in like one moment. And it's reminding me of the power of speaking your intentions out. And this is also one of the 7 spiritual laws of success, is the law of giving. Like whatever you really want and desire for yourself, how can you give that to somebody else? How can you help somebody else achieve that? How can you say a prayer for this person to receive that thing that you really want? And for me, I often talk about this like miracle book that I have, this miracle list. And I write down other people's miracles and I pray for them to come to fruition. And I also have in the same area, like a prayer book, a prayer list where I see people in my life and things that I really desire for them. And when I think about what people really desire in the world, it often comes down to 2 things, and that's love and money. And I desire that for myself also, truly, really. And when I think about, okay, this law of giving, how can I help someone else receive these things? How can I support them in this process? Because this is also, I'm in such deep study of these 2 energies that are really one energetic thread of self-worth. And letting yourself be seen as all of you. Because when it comes to money, it's like I'm seen by many. I'm seen externally. When I have money, I have greater impact on the entirety of the world, because the way I spend my money is what changes today's world in a capitalist society. That's true. That's real. And it's such a big impact of my soul on the world by the way that I spend my money. And it's true soul expression when you have infinite abundance, and which we all do, by the way. And when it comes to love, it's being seen by one in your truth and all that you are, is being witnessed by one person, and everything that you've hid from everybody else out in the world, when you show up in social gatherings or online or whatever it is, and the parts of you that are most uncomfortable for you to see within yourself, that is what's shared with your partner. You cannot hide your soul self from an intimate partnership. It's so vulnerable. It's the sides of you that you don't want to be seen, but it's seen by one person. And so these two things, love and money, are how can I allow myself to be me in the world? And how can I allow myself to be seen in the world as me? And that also means like having desires, because to be us in our truest expression also means to honor the desires that we do have and to express them and to be seen in them and to be seen in the bringing them into fruition in our life. Because when we allow our desires to be honored and birthed through us, we allow ourselves to be more of us. And when it comes to people pleasing, we so often are like, no, I don't, I don't need any, don't cause problems, don't make waves. And don't cause problems turns into, I don't have needs, turns into, I don't have desires. And then we fully shut ourselves off from, who am I? And am I safe in this world to express? And am I safe in this world to fully be seen? And am I safe in this world to honor who I am and trust that it's worth something? Trust that I get to value this, me. And it makes me emotional because this is the work of my life. And so it's my value, finding my value. I've overgiven and undercharged, and I have had a hard time speaking my truth and being seen in my truth of how I would be perceived and of not being liked and of not being loved. And my work in this lifetime is to give unconditional love, number one. And it's also to find that for me and to reclaim my desires of, what does Allie want in this season? What do I want? And that is challenging when you've always brought other people's dreams to life. To be like, well, even this healing thing, it has in my life been a coping mechanism of, oh, I don't have to think about me. I can think about somebody else and what they need. And something I dove into in therapy in March, where it's like, I need to shift this healing essence, this Allie with the healer hat, out of coping mechanism and into alignment and love and overflow and giving back to me. Because if I'm separating myself from my own sense of self-love to do this work, it's never going to work. And so, with all that being said, let's just take a deep breath. Inhale, exhale. Thank you for witnessing me. Thank you for being here. And I also, as I do this work for me, I realize I have so much to give on this subject. And I'm really excited about that because it feels so correct and also simultaneously terrifying because I've been imperfect and I'm afraid of, like, so often in the healing space, people sell results in order to encourage buying. And it makes me sad because it turns this work into shiny object syndrome, and it's not real. And I created Love and Money, which is a 4-week course. It also includes a one-to-one 90-minute deep dive with me into your sense of self-worth and into whatever's coming up for you specifically around your relationship to love and money, because of the law of giving, of helping us all get deeper in touch with our sense of self-worth. Because when I see that in you, I also see that in me. And when I create this course that I know so much about, and also it's hard for me to look at, there is accountability in myself doing this work that is so transformative. And I get to trust that my being and my love and my service and my pull to do this is here for a reason, and that I get to also be imperfect with it. I get to own that I have a desire for intimate partnership in my life. I get to own that I have a desire for greater prosperity in my life. Greater prosperity to the point of when I have a $12,000 month of emergency expenses, which I had this past month, that I don't go into contraction, which I have. And a deeper sense of trust with that. Because also there's so much abundance and so much goodness and so much love all around me, this man included. And this work is really important for me and for you, because also I see in the wellness industry, especially, we need really good people with really good hearts making good money. And I need to be one of those people. And I know I need to be one of those people. And I know that this industry needs me and my voice. And I also believe that anybody that's in my community is needed as well, because we all have the same thread of love in all that we do. And we come with so much heart. So thank you for being here. Thank you for witnessing me. Thank you for listening. I did not expect this to go in this direction. And also, this is true. I could sell this course in a very different way, but it wouldn't be true. And it's me. So I'm letting myself be seen. We're going to see how it goes. I love you so much. I wish for you all the love, all the prosperity, all the magic in your life today and every day moving forward. And I really pray for you that you believe in miracles and you believe that they can happen to you too, because they can. They can. And one other disclaimer that I don't think I mentioned in the course is the 90-minute intensive comes only for the first 5 people to purchase Love and Money. The course is valued at $400. Well, it's not valued at, it's valued at more than this, but it is going for $444, and a 90-minute one-to-one with me is $450. So yeah, I'm just giving them away. I'm like, let's do this work. Law of giving, baby. I'm trusting. I'm leaning into the laws of the universe, and we're going to see how it goes. But I have a feeling it's going to be beautiful. And if it's not, it's real. And that's what matters most. Love you. Titan loves you.